Wilbert Smith was the head of the Canadian UFO effort for a number of years. Died an early death, unfortunately. His memo, in which he talks about Van Bush working, a small group working with Van Bush on modus operandi, how they work, certainly points in that direction. And he also says that the Americans would like whatever help we can give them. And I know that his boss, sort of the Van Bush of Canada, did meet with Van Bush, a doctor, can't think of his name, damn. The Canadian who was Wilbur's boss, I met with him, as a matter of fact, and he was very non-communicative about anything classified, I'll put it that way. Yeah, I think we knew about the existence of the project. Smith even ran a project where he tried to make measurements of saucers flying over and stuff like that. And of course he's been attacked by the noisy negativists as, oh, he was some kind of a nut. He was interested in psychic stuff. You judge him by his work. Don't say because he was interested in, I'm interested in psychic stuff too. So what? You know, it's something you have to dig into and you reach a conclusion about. You don't just make a pronouncement about. I don't believe in pronouncements. You know, research by proclamation is not my style. Anyway, Smith was the most important Canadian, and it was interesting when I got a bunch of stuff declassified from the Canadian archives in Ottawa that I found what I thought would really be something special. It was a memo about government involvement in UFO activities, research, and so forth. And it mentioned a file number which listed reports up through top secret from 1947 on. And it gave a file number. So I naturally filed an access to information request for that. We no longer have that file. It was destroyed. Now, I don't believe that, but what am I going to do about it, you know? And also, it was interesting. There were a lot of letters written to the government about what's the Canadian government doing about UFOs. And the response was usually, we're not doing anything about UFOs. And at the very same time, when I got these other files, it was clear that they had a committee to deal with them that was meeting right at that very same time. But it was meeting under security. And it's clear from their work on the Shag Harbor case down here in Nova Scotia that the Canadian government was heavily involved. And something we tend to forget here in Canada is that the Air Defense Command is a joint Canadian-American effort. Canadian officers serve down there. When I was living in the States and wanted to get a copy of one of these publications, Joint Army, Navy, Air Force publication, they had to get permission from the Canadians to give me the part that dealt with what they should do. So there is a link up there. And there's every indication that the Air Defense Command, Aerospace Defense Command, they keep changing the name, but has been picking up, quote, uncorrelated targets. I love the phrase. They're not UFOs. They're targets we pick up on radar and we don't know what they are. And I saw a recent letter that says there were over 700 in 1 year that was under question. Not all were explained. And Nick Redfern has found out that the pilot manuals for recent military aircraft in the States contain specific instructions as to what pilots are to do if they observe an unidentified submarine, an unidentified surface ship, an unidentified aircraft, and an unidentified flying object. Clearly not referring to aircraft. That's a separate category, airplane, if you will. So Canada and the United States have been in bed with each other on this for a long time. The RCMP takes a fairly sensible attitude toward UFOs. They treat them seriously, which has pleased me. I've had them in my home talking to me about them, RCMP people. So Wilbur Smith was the catalyst in the 50s, head of the Project Magnet, Project Second Story. I have the files. He made no bones about some of these are extraterrestrial.